Well, it looks like Trey left out the tablet again and Chris found my last video.
Mommy, I saw this new video and I'm big bad now.
Bass, like any tournament organization, doesn't want negative publicity or any bad stories written about them. Well, that much is understandable. What I don't get is that sometimes Bass thinks their problem is with the media. It's not. It's with their own anglers creating these stories, right? And you know, they have a way to fix it. It's called the Rule C7, the Code of Conduct Policy, and every angler that fishes for them has signed it. Like I alluded to in my intro, Chris Zaldain found my last video, the Shady Bunch video, and he left some downright tasteless, accusatory, baseless, well, you know, Zaldain-like comments in the comments section. First, he says, I wish I could do videos like this, but I actually have something to lose. You'd be too easy to go after. You have to use our clips to start a conversation. How about some originality and creativity in your videos? No, that would require some effort. First off, less than a minute of one of your videos is a far cry from a conversation starter. In fact, it's about as much verbal vomit as my viewers can stand. My response to him was pretty simple. I told him that I have more journalistic integrity and fact-finding in my left pinky nail than he and his wife have in their entire bodies. I went on to remind him that it was his wife that attacked a 9-year-old with muscular dystrophy who was just trying to fish a tournament while he still physically could. And as far as going after me would be too easy, of course, he's a bully. We all saw what he did to that local angler out there on the water. Hey, dude, you've got some anger issues, and you might want to pull up on the reins before Bass does or your sponsors. The next thing he comes at me with is a fat joke. Yeah, talking about creativity on my part, right? Anyway, he says, the only thing in your left pinky nail is the remnants of this morning's donut. All the time talking about creativity? Man, you need to see somebody about that projection. Now, the next comment he makes is straight out of the Zaldain playbook, a false accusation. It's since been deleted. You know, oddly enough, right before the meeting Bass had this past Wednesday with their anglers about behavior on social media. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, right? But it said, while I have you on the line, was it you who called Bass and demanded that I receive a fine for cursing on the water? The tournament director told me, quote, someone with a small YouTube channel and negative topics brought it to Bass's attention. I'm convinced it was you, Karen. Karen, my name's not on your marriage certificate. Now what's funny is, after Chris released that second video doubling down on dumb with his behavior with that angler on the water, I did send 3 journalistic questions via email to Bass. Here, I'll just read them to you. 1. Was the on-the-water confrontation between Chris Zaldain and the local angler considered a rule violation of either C6 or C7? Number 2. If no, why not? 3. If yes, what, if any, action is expected or has occurred in regards to both Chris Zaldain and the boat official if the confrontation wasn't reported to local tournament officials? As you can see, I never even mentioned the cursing, sure as hell never demanded any fine. It's what you call journalism. It's where you ask questions of the powers that be. Upon receiving the 3 questions, Bass issued the following statement to the channel. The occurrence you mentioned has been reviewed internally. Translation, they already knew because you self-snitched. They were already talking and made a decision, you just didn't know about it yet. Way to go, genius. What I find interesting is the fact that the comment where he threw Bass under the bus for saying something they didn't say, which was that I demanded he be fined for the on-the-water incident, that got deleted. But the fat joke stayed up. I get it. That's right. It's his MO to go after the disabled. Whether it's a 9-year-old boy with muscular dystrophy who's just trying to fish a tournament with his adoptive father, or a guy in his late 40s with a whole host of issues. Yep, that's how he gets his rocks off. In all fairness, it's not just the Zaldains that Bass could crack down on. You know, that C7, the whole code of conduct, it applies to some other guys too. Let's look. See, there's this little nugget that says, public attacks through media, including social media, upon the integrity of Bass, rules, or officials. See, on Gerald Swindle's Instagram page, he left a little video talking about how one particular angler had received multiple polygraphs this year and passed them all. It broke his brain. I mean, sure, there's got to be a law of averages in there somewhere, right? Well, Jacob Porosnik jumped in the fray and said this: "The polygraph we take is fake. Anyone could pass it. Not a good look." Then there's this one. Displays of angler indispleasure for reasons related to fishing competition where members of the public, including other anglers, spectators, and the media are present. Yeah, we're looking at you, Gerald Swindle. And last but not least, there's this one. Offensive or slanderous comments with racial, cultural, or sexual overtones regarding event officials, event personnel, or fellow anglers. Damn it, Seth.
Not I can spend a month there and side scan every inch of the lake because I'm a virgin and I don't like boobs. I mean,
remember back in my last video when I questioned whether Trey Zaldain even knew about young 9-year-old Axton's muscular dystrophy? This is what I said. So at the end of the day, I've got two questions for Trey Zaldain. One, did you know Rick's tournament partner was his sick 10-year-old grandson and just not tell your fans? Or two, did you not have the receipts you thought you did because you have the journalistic capabilities of a fruit fly? See, we now have an answer to that very question. The tournament director for the trail that young Axton and his adoptive father fished sent a message via social media to Trey Zaldain to try to clear the air, asking her if she even knew about the young man's disability. Well, she knew, and she didn't care. Here's what she said. "I appreciate this message, but the anglers upset knew Rick had fished the whole trail. Everyone knew about his grandson's unfortunate condition. That doesn't change other issues that are ongoing regarding team tournaments Trey and him previously fished that gave anglers on the elites a valid reason to be upset with his participation. I don't think you know the whole story. P.S. I don't check this inbox." Well, I guess you did check the inbox. And oh, by the way, how does he not know the whole story? You did catch how he's the tournament director, right? And oh, by the way, lady, in order for Rick and his adoptive son to even fish that trail, they had to sign up for all 5 events. And their deadline was way before the EliteSeries schedule even came out. So they had no way of knowing they were going to be on the same lake anywhere in the proximity of the elites. But see, you knew that, didn't you? You just conveniently left out certain facts because it didn't fit your narrative and because you knew you would catch backlash on picking on a 9-year-old with muscular dystrophy. And as for all the other rumors she's been peddling as facts, claiming she's got the receipts for them, you better tune into my next video. You're not going to want to miss it. What you're going to find out is going to shock you. See, I know why she hasn't been naming names, and I've spent the last month gathering up all of her receipts and talking to every person I can involved with the situation. It's been an extensive, in-depth investigation into all the controversy surrounding young Trey McKinney out of Illinois. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. See, I've actually spoken with the guy who says he's responsible for sending all the inside information to both Chris and Trey Zaldain as well as Randy Blaukat. But ask yourself this, have they named names? Have they done any research on it? No. Why? It's simple. They're not journalists. In reality, all they are is commentators, talking heads, who expect to be able to bend over, rip one, and for you to smell facts. They're pros, former pros, with biases and cliques they have to answer to. You know, kind of like that one quarterback on Sunday Morning Football who's in the booth because he's taking one too many shots to the brain pan. At the end of the day, if Bass wants the media just to ignore all the negativity surrounding their anglers, you know, that requires a full-time paycheck and a staff position, right? I mean, to quote Cat Williams quoting Flavor Flav, I think he said,
"They got to pay me, boy!"
Again, please be looking forward to my next video where we look under every rock in the state of Illinois and beyond to get to the truth of all the rumors surrounding young Trey McKinney. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Please do me a favor, like, comment, share, subscribe, even become a member. But until next time we meet, you know the drill. Get out there on the water and keep it wet.
The Shady Bunch, the Shady Bunch, the Shady Bunch. That's the way they became the Shady Bunch. That's the way they became.